So, good morning and welcome to the webinar today, Leveraging Technology to Make Your Business More Efficient. This is another in the series of complementary Allen Chartered Accounting is putting on to help small businesses. My name's David Allen, and with me today is Andy Carruthers from hardbasket.com. Andy's had many years' experience assisting businesses get more out of technology, and we look forward to hearing some great tips today. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on today, and thrilled to be talking to you and a couple of others about how we can leverage technology in our businesses. It's a very exciting time for small business around technology. I'm a firm believer that for a lot of our small business, today's technology actually gives them a massive competitive advantage against lots of their competitors in the market. So
yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology available today to make our businesses more efficient.
Yep.
Some of this we already have and could use more effectively.
Yep.
And others we could add, which will collectively save us time and stress.
Yeah.
So it can be tricky to know what's best to do, and and sometimes this can end up in the too hard basket. Hence your name, Andy.
Yeah.
And that's why we've asked you to be our guest presenter this morning. So thank you so much for joining us. So we have a few more guests to arrive, and some have requested the recording afterwards.
Yep.
And we can send a link to everyone as well. Please put your questions into the chat. We've had some by email, and we'll try to address those during the session, and also attend to the ones in the chat at the end. Right. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Yeah.
One technology tool we all use is email, and it can be a constant battle to get to the bottom of the inbox.
Yeah.
How can we use our email and calendar more effectively, Andy?
Yeah, well, we've got a few tips to go through today. So the first thing that we can do is we can use a system called the 4Ds, which is just a way of being able to just be able to manage our inbox in an effective way. So look, our 4Ds, you'll see them on the screen here. The first one is Delete It. So when you're spending time managing your emails, if you've got an email, you've read it, you don't need to do anything more, just delete it. And that applies whether you're clearing it on your computer or whether you're doing that on your phone. One of the really important rules of managing that stuff effectively is just to touch it once. So there's there's a lot of emails that we just need to read, and then we can just delete and don't require any further action. The next one of our D's is to do it now. And if we're spending time managing our email and we've got something which can be actioned in less than 5 minutes, you can get it done, get it out of the way. So don't procrastinate, just get it done. And then we've got our next D, which is to delegate it. So some emails are better handled by somebody else, or we can delegate it to a folder for future reference. And look, one of the things about delegating that you can use your email and your calendar tools is that you can use the ability to be able to change that email to a task or to an event. So that can be a useful way of delegating it to a different person. or to a different time. And then we've got the last D, which is defer it. So again, this is something that we can use our tasks and our calendar to take that email and to set up some time or a meeting to manage that. So that's our 4 Ds. That's the first thing we can do with emails. And this was something that I was taught with one of my teams, years ago, and it's a really good, just kind of common sense framework for managing your email better. Because one of the last things you want to do is get stuck in your inbox for hours and hours every day, because that's often not where the really important, valuable work happens. So
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there can be such a lot of time wasting emails which aren't important. So what's your advice there? Just delete them, unsubscribe?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of different tips there. So just before we jump to that, we've got so yeah, one thing we can do is we can filter. We can filter some of the emails that we get. Definitely there's a bunch that we should unsubscribe from, but yeah, filters can be a great way of kind of managing your inbox. So I find, for myself and with businesses I work with, there's a lot of emails that come through our inbox that don't actually need to stay in our inbox. So we can automatically set up filters so that they go to other folders inside of our email. And then down the bottom here, I've got a couple of different unsubscribe tools to clean up your inbox. So yeah, over time we can subscribe to emails that we don't really use or don't really read. So here are a couple of really good tools to be able to kind of manage some bulk unsubscribing and cleaning up your inbox. And again, one of the things here that these tools provide is like a weekly digest of some emails that you get regularly, but you don't need to read all of them. You just kind of need a bit of a summary. So that can be really useful as well. So and then another thing we've got here is I highly recommend for most business owners to turn off your notifications. Otherwise, I find that for a lot of people, they're just continually getting distracted by a notification popping up here, there, and everywhere, and that's just creating kind of an urgent focus as opposed to an important focus, which is really important in our business, that we we focus on the super important stuff, not just the latest urgent thing that's popped up.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking of that when you were mentioning it, the importance and urgency matrix.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that can be a temptation with new technology too, with the iPhone notifications or Apple Watch notifications. I found when I first got mine, they're just going off all the time, and it was kind of interesting to start with, but after a while, it just becomes stressful. So when I turned those off, it was quite a relief.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are there are a time and a place for some of those. Potentially, for some of your team, or for some of your customers, but just a blanket having them on the whole time, it can get in the way. So yeah.
And so rules in email, I found that quite effective to set up a rule to put straight to a folder that I know that it's not urgent, it's not important, and I can deal with that later. That I found that quite useful.
Yeah. So I think rules and filters and the like are super useful. So yeah. Um, yeah.
So I just saw your screen there about
Yeah.
time saved. That's what we're all interested in.
Yeah. So this was a client that I did a little bit of help with around setting up and managing their email. And just by implementing a few of those different ideas, they were just able to save 5 hours a week, which is, I mean, it's massive. It's
It's quite
260.
significant, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's something that we all have to manage, and it's just worthwhile, spending a little bit of time making sure you've got it set up properly.
Mm. Okay, thank you, Andy. To become more efficient in our business and to apply technology, we need to review our systems and processes
Yep.
and question why we do things and how this can be simplified and automated. What sort of steps and tools have you found useful?
Yeah, well, I've got, I guess, a little bit of a framework here for people just to be thinking about how to make your business more efficient. And
Yes.
so we all have lots of kind of tasks and processes in our business, and it's really useful to to spend a little bit of time having a look at why do you do this particular thing in your business, and whether it's you doing it or one of your team members. Every now and then, with checking in on why do you do this, and how can you remove steps, simplify, reduce the cycle time, so the time from start to end, and then how can you use automation, which is becoming way more accessible for business now. Yeah, so
and having it done consistently is so important.
Yeah, I mean, there's I guess there's a few different things we want to be able to achieve. Like I think we're always wanting to be able to create a better customer experience.
Yes.
For our customers, and another thing that's really important is that we create a better experience for for us, becoming more efficient, and also for our team becoming more efficient.
Yes.
So technology can help us do that, and you and I have talked a little bit about this particular tool, Process Street, which is a really good tool for helping streamline processes, and when you have processes that need to happen time and time again, a tool like Process Street can basically provide you a digital checklist for you and your team, so that you're able to provide that consistency time in, time out.
Yes.
And because it's a digital checklist, it means that you can create automation with it. So, here we've got a digital checklist, and we're creating email automation from the checklist. We're creating document automation from the checklist. We've got calendar automation in there. We've got supplier bill automation, so we're connecting with our accounting tools.
So would you see that like a staff member or a team member is coming in to do a new task, they would come into Process Street, find that task, and follow the checklist? Is that how you see that working?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways that we've used this particular tool with different businesses. So in one particular case, the example I'm looking at, that you're looking at right now, is that so this is a new onboarding process. So when somebody wants to start using a particular service that you offer, this digital checklist is automatically created, and it's assigned to a team member, and so that team member then has that process, that digital checklist, to be able to follow through, to make sure that all the steps happen. And another great thing, especially as you're, I guess as you've got more staff starting to do things, one of the problems that you run into is when you have a staff member away for a day, or even for a longer period of time, you need for your team to be able to pick up where that person has left off. And sometimes that's really hard if you don't have really good documentation or really good processes and systems.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Andy. And it's not just about creating efficiency, but consistency, defining your systems, having one place where they're stored, and having everybody adopt them, which can lead to a scalable business and ultimately an easier saleable business as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, that's really great. And these types of tools, you've always got to look at the cost benefit, of course, of it.
Yep.
But some of them, or many of them, you can get a free version, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty standard for a lot of the tools out there to be able to start off with a free version.
Yeah.
One thing I would say though is that normally to really get the benefit from these tools, you normally have to use a paid plan, and I always find it fascinating when people say, "Well, Andy, like that's going to cost me $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year." I'm like, okay, yeah, it's going to cost you $1,200 a year. How many hours is it going to save you a year? And like, what's your time worth? So, if you've got something which is going to cost you $1,200, but it's going to save you 100 hours a year, the return on investment for that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's really, in order to leverage technology to make your business more efficient, you have to want to save time.
Yeah.
If you don't want to save time, then keep doing it the way you're doing it. There's got to be a driver.
That's right. Yeah. The resistance to change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can make us more efficient so that we can spend more time doing the stuff that's earning us money, or if we want more time for work-life balance, family, sports, whatever, that's also an outcome. Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. Thank you, Andy, for showing us Process Street and a tool that can help us with that. So with the CRM, the keeping track of contact information, communications with customers, suppliers, and prospects can be difficult to manage. See, I know a CRM is a tool, but what is a CRM, and how can we use that for greater efficiency?
Well, here's one definition of what a CRM is. So, a tool to manage your relationships with your current and prospective customers, clients, and other contacts. And they're an address book. It's kind of like the modern day version of your old kind of Rolodex or your card file, for those of us who are old enough to know what they are. That's what they are. I think I mean, a question that I get asked, and I know, you get asked as well, is,
Mm.
Which CRM is best? And, there are just so many CRMs now, that the answer to that question um, is not a simple question.
Mm.
So I guess, just to help people, think about CRMs, just go through, some different types of CRM systems.
Yeah.
So there are, there are four main types of CRM software, and there are dozens of great apps, inside of these categories. But
Mm.
so the first type is what we call a conversation CRM, and so this particular example is Salesforce IQ, and it's built around your team's emails and phone calls with customers.
Mm.
So everything's based on the conversation that is happening. So that's one type of CRM.
I found that particularly useful, actually. So all the team can see the emails and
Yes.
always be up to date. And there's not a bottleneck in somebody's inbox, which typically had been mine.
Yeah.
That conversation CRM has been really useful.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important, with a team now to, for everybody to be able to be across all of those interactions,
Yeah.
and yeah, it can be really challenging with stuff getting buried in emails. So, um, second type of CRM is what we call a leads and deals CRM. So this is, focused on helping you, close a deal with your most promising leads. And, this particular example is Pipedrive, which is, one of a number of different CRMs that, operate in this space. So,
Yeah.
if leads and deals are your core focus, then you want to be kind of looking at the options around that.
Yeah. Another well, it's not actually a CRM, but it's just picking up on Trello in that place.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a cheap and free one, just to keep a board view of what's happening, Trello
Yeah.
can be quite good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I guess Trello kind of matches the look and feel that you're seeing of this particular screen here, inside of Pipedrive, with the different the different boards and the different columns.
Yeah.
So this is a contact CRM, and this particular example is Highrise. So for this particular type of CRM, if we're focusing on um, continuing to stay in contact, and how we want to be emailing, adding notes, and giving people visibility, that's another kind of core focus.
Yeah, and I found that part really good to bring up reminders as well. So you've sent off an email, or there's some sort of communication, and then the question, do you want to create a task for this, or do you want to be reminded of this? And it just keeps it front of mind, and keeps you able to give good service.
Yeah, definitely. And then the fourth type is a marketing CRM. And the example we've got here is HubSpot. So if you're wanting to create, different workflows, and to be able to, be automatically, communicating with contacts, as they engage in different pieces of your marketing, then you're you need a CRM that has that type of functionality. So yeah, so there's a whole kind of world of opportunities out there, and really the first kind of step in looking at some of these tools is to understand what it is that you're wanting to achieve with those. And there are some good websites to go and compare different tools, and there are also people you can talk to, and like me and many others who work with lots of different tools, and depending on what your needs are, can make recommendations for you.
Okay, great. So we can be more efficient, give a better service, and save some time.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, this is, I guess, this is another example of where a CRM has been used to be able to save time and create that better customer experience and team experience. So technology can help us save time, which is important, so we can do the things that are valuable and do the things we really want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, quoting and invoicing can be another time-consuming task, particularly so. Xero can be used quite effectively to streamline this.
Yeah.
I had a client say to me, well, hold on, you're talking about technology. Some of us aren't even on on Xero yet. So
yeah.
I think that's the first step. And if you're not, please give me a call, and we can really get some efficiencies going there. But not just efficiencies, but having the real-time reporting allows us to give some real value to business decisions. So can you give us an example, Andy, on how we can do this, and perhaps some other tips and applications?
Yeah. So I mean, it's super helpful, to have a good process for how we handle, quoting of jobs. When we get an inquiry, we want to be able to, respond to that in a way so that, people can know what we can do, when we can do it, and how much it will cost, and can make a decision. And people, our customers now have an expectation that that happens faster and faster. So having a good process. So tools like Xero have a quoting function, and many accounting systems do that, and there are also some other specific quoting tools. But here, if we've got our normal products and services, if we set them up in our system as items, we can just quickly reuse those, and we can set up templates with our products and services to be able to quote those quickly and easily. And most of these tools also let our customers accept quotes online, which again is useful. If it can be accepted just by a click of the button, that's making it easy for your customer. It's also making it easier for you, rather than having continual kind of follow up in different channels. So
yeah, that's right. So the quote becomes an invoice. The customer can then electronically pay the invoice. If not, Xero can send automatic reminders, and we can get some good use of technology and automation flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have great technology for all businesses to be able to accept online payments at really cost-effective fees. and like you say, making sure that your business is following up your quotes and your unpaid invoices is important, and it's really common sense. But in my experience, it's probably not as common as what it should be. So, yeah.
Common sense, you mean?
Well, I think, like we're all busy, right? Like
Yeah.
we're all busy, wearing lots of hats inside of our business. So it's very easy for, something to kind of fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
And, sometimes things like following up quotes or unpaid invoices is, not the highest priority. Like it's not the reason most of us got into business,
That's
but
right.
it is an important part of having our business work well.
Yeah, well, that's right. And some businesses, it can be a day a week at least at the end of the month, doing the invoices. And if you can automate that, well, there's a day, and it's a similar sort of time saving as what you showed us before.
Yeah.
And any other sort of ways other than Xero for?
Yeah, so I've got an example here of a business that I worked with, and they use a tool called Quotient, which is a really good online quoting tool. And this can be really good if you need to provide kind of bigger proposals as opposed to just kind of providing a more basic quote that you can use your accounting system for. But if you're wanting like a full-blown proposal with lots of kind of interactive features, something like Quotient is really good. And Scott, who uses Quotient, who I was working with, he was using Quotient, but he was kind of using it in a slightly kind of manual way with with some spreadsheets and some different emails. And so one of the things we're able to do with some new technology using a tool called Zapier is we were able to connect the quoting app Quotient with his CRM system, to be able to streamline that process. So instead of having people doing manual work, we're able to use technology to to make it work faster. So
Awesome.
yeah, and yeah, so this is just I guess the the Zapier detail where we're able to create automation which is accessible for for small business. And this was again saved 3 hours a week just by changing the process. So,
yeah, very, very significant, and all these little things adding up. My goodness, we're over it. Yeah, we're at a really significant saving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so yeah, accounting, data capture, and payroll. Or actually, we're going to get onto Zapier a little bit more later. But yeah, accounting, data capture, and payroll are two more efficiencies that we can adopt. And so these tools have been available for a while now and are a real time saver.
Yeah.
So as you've got there, HubDoc is one and Dext is another, where you can get your receipts and invoices automatically into Xero as bills payable, right? Accurately and with minimal effort. So what's your example on this, Andy?
Yeah, well, I've worked with a few businesses to to get rid of basically to get rid of that manual data entry that can be involved in in managing all of the bills and receipts. So in one example, we used they sort of had hundreds of bills coming through, and just by using some of this technology, we're able to basically completely remove. I think it was about 8 hours 8 hours a month that it just completely eliminated, and also improved the accuracy of the information we had as well. So yeah, if you've got your team manually entering stuff, it's definitely worthwhile checking out some of the options there.
It's really good when it comes to us as accountants as well, where if we need to check the invoice, there it is in the system. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is that now with how the laws changed, is that by having it electronically in a proper system, you no longer need to keep the the paper copies. So that's also another just saving more hassle for your business.
Yeah.
So yeah, one example with a larger team, we were able to save like one person's time per week, which was like that was a team of 10 people. So there was a fair bit of documentation going on there, but also made for a much happier team as well, no longer having to do all that manual work.
Yeah, that's really, really significant.
Yeah.
And so you likewise with payroll, with the complexity of the Holidays Act and employment law, it's really a no-brainer to have an electronic sort of payroll system now, like Smart Payroll, where you can get your employees loaded, get the wages set up, and if there's any variation in that, just you can process that relatively easily, and it can also take away the administration of filing the weekly payroll reports and PAYE. That can be a real time saver to business as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think most most businesses are now taking advantage of those tools, but there are also some differences across some of those tools. So some of those tools kind of manage a whole lot of that, a whole lot of those things automatically for you, and some of them you still have to kind of manage some of those tasks. So again, I think it's absolutely crucial to make sure that you've got a good tool there, and another thing that becomes really important with those tools is being able to have the team manage their leave.
Yes.
So instead of having a manual kind of back and forth scenario, most of the the good payroll apps now, they have their own apps, so that all of your team members can can be applying for leave. They can see their leave balances, they can see their information from their phones, and they can make a leave application through the system, and you can approve it or edit it from there, and all of that feeds into the the payroll system. So it's just managing some of those kind of more mundane things that are really important to manage well in an efficient way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about Zapier and how Zapier. I've had a little bit of a play with Zapier, but it seems that it's there are some default applications that you can apply, and then it's pretty much up to your imagination. But coming back to what we talked about before about looking at what you do, what your systems are, and what steps you go to, those can be automated through Zapier. Is that right?
Yeah, many of them. So, when we talked before about, what you can do to improve your processes. So, we want to be able to, simplify them, We want to be able to look at what steps can we remove. And then the last step around process improvement is looking at automation. And tools like Zapier are designed for automation for small business. So yeah, and we had a question from Rachel around a specific Zapier question. So we'll jump into that soon as well, Rachel. So yes, I've got a couple of quick examples. So a couple of ways we can save some time. So one is manually entering data from emails. So a lot of us receive notifications or information from suppliers or from customers in emails that is important, in our systems. And normally what happens is that data comes in an email. It's data entered. It might be entered into a CRM, might be entered into a spreadsheet, and then something more's got to happen with that data. What we can do now with tools like Zapier is we can have that email come in. It can be automatically scanned or passed, and those details can then be sent into our system. So in this example here, we've actually got emails coming in from in this case coming through from Facebook, and we need to be able to do something with that information, and we're sending that information into our CRM system automatically. So nobody has to do any manual work around that anymore.
Yeah, amazing.
And then got an example just around connecting your apps, and in this case we're just dealing with some quote inquiries coming in the old way. We've got a phone call, we've got some emails, we're entering that into a spreadsheet, and now we've got using some automation and using Xero, and in this case a project tool called ClickUp. We are able to connect these tools together, and when we get a new quote that's accepted inside of Xero, we're able to send it straight through to our project tool, and that sets everything up for us to be able to go and do the job and schedule the job and manage it. So yeah,
it's amazing, isn't it? Takes all the donkey work, if you like, out of it, and we're just ready to start.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stop sharing that. We had a question from Rachel.
Yeah.
About so this was a specific question around Zapier, and I don't know. Can you unmute Rachel?
Rachel. So just carry on. I'm just trying to find how to do that.
I can do it.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Rach.
Hi, how you going?
Yeah, good. And you?
Good.
Very well, thank you.
Good. So do you want to just quickly talk us through what you're trying to do with this Zap, and why you're wanting to automate this, and what the task is?
Sure. Well, Andy, thank you so much for introducing me to Zapier. It's something I have played with a bit, and you inspire me to try and make things work, which is great. But this one in particular, what I'm trying to do is to save time by sending my blog posts straight from my Shopify blogs to Pinterest with the image that we use in the blog post, so that basically every time I do a blog post, it just gets pushed out to Pinterest. And so I found some code online, just doing a search, send Shopify blog post to Pinterest. And I've followed all of the steps in that, and I've got to a bit of an impasse here where I just can't get it to move forward. I've done everything as per the instructions, and yeah, I'm just a little bit stuck now, but it looks promising, and I think we're close. And that's kind of where I get to with quite a few of them. And it's a bit hard to kind of know what's really wrong and how to. I know support is there. I know you're also there, Andy, which is lovely. But I think I just find it's difficult to get through some steps and to know why you're not getting through them. So maybe you could help us there.
Yeah. So I mean, thanks for sending through the details, and I had about a 5-minute play before we started today, just to have a look at it. So, so we've got this setup. So we're feeding through. We're getting the the URL of the blog, and in the function that you're looking to use here is a pretty sophisticated function. So using the run JavaScript action is definitely kind of an expert's function. So it's not something that a lot of day-to-day Zapier users are using. Most of the time they're connecting apps that have a Zapier integration built into them. So the first thing that I found was up in here in the setup action to input the data. This field originally you had typed in the link reference. And what it actually needs is it actually needs to be able to pull the link reference from the first stage of the Zap.
Yeah, so, I think I did try both ways.
Okay.
Tried clicking on the link as well as then typing it in. So I had a couple of goes at that. Yep.
Okay. And then you've received this code from a third party who has supposedly got this up and running, and I've had a look at that, and on the testing that I've run so far, I'm getting a different error than what the initial error was that you were getting with the freeform text that was in that link box.
Okay. Yep.
But we're still getting an error. So I've submitted that through to the Zapier help desk, and you'll get a response on that pretty soon on what's going on there. So I guess
what's the easiest way to send your queries like this to the support people? So obviously I'm doing something that's a bit more advanced than average.
Yeah.
And there's a button there that says troubleshoot.
Yeah.
So
you
how
just click the troubleshoot.
Yeah.
And then down the bottom you've got get help.
Yep.
So you go get help. And then with your you get help, see it's pulled through, the Zap, tell us more about your problem, what's the area. So it's pre-formatted that, and then, you can add some more, you can add an image, and then you just click send.
Wow.
So it's all pretty
yeah.
easy.
Okay,
That's
some good help there.
Yeah, so that's hopefully hopefully you get a response through from them, and also I'm happy to help you further with that if we need to do a little bit more research.
Yeah, I just find that's a really time-consuming thing to upload all the blogs to all the different platforms.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll start with Pinterest, and found this code, and if I can get Pinterest working, then hopefully the same sort of Zap's going to work for all my other platforms as well, which would just save me a lot of worry. I know they're not out there, so I would love to get our content out there more.
Yeah, and as well as that. That code solution. So that code solution is has been specifically created around wanting to be able to get those images, but there will be other potential solutions to being able to solve that. That code won't be the only way to potentially solve that connection that you're trying to create there.
Gotcha. Yep. Great. So I'll look forward to getting some reply from them. Thank you so much for your help.
No problem.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for your question.
And David, you had another question as well. Is it?
No, I think we've dealt with that.
Okay.
So that was really interesting on Zapier, Andy. So there's some simple Zaps that we can get the low-hanging fruit, if you like, get some real efficiencies going, and right to the very complex, like what Rachel has done, which when it's working will be a massive time saver for her.
Yeah.
So Zapier is something that can really give efficiency in our business.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, and thank you too for the next steps here. So we've got a free download from Andy, hardbasket.com ebook download, free guide to leverage technology, and also some free resources from Untitled Accounting. So there's many. Please have a look and download what's useful to you there. So thank you so much, Andy. That was so valuable. Some great technology ideas and tools that we can use now to make us more efficient and get back some of that valuable time.
No, thanks for having me on, and I look forward to hearing about some of the success stories. If you want to message me through my website, you can contact me through then. It'd be great to hear about how you're leveraging technology in your business.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Andy. In future webinars, we'll go into more detail about ways to grow your business and defining what you would like success to look like going forward. Please remember these free links and to contact us if you'd like any help. So thank you very much. Thanks again, Andy. Thanks to the guests. Thanks, Rachel, for your question. And we'll see you again on another webinar.
All right.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. Take care.